Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard, this is Lap of the World, and today we're addressing something of a sneaky problem with our first generation NSX that saw a bunch of seemingly unrelated electrical issues get traced back to one specific electrical connector. Stick around. Do you own a first generation NSX, and have you experienced any of these weird faults? The brake lamp warning light on your dashboard appearing when in fact all of your brake lights are working. Your brake lights not working, but that light not appearing. Your brake lights or blinkers working when they feel like it, or issues with your traction control or anti-lock braking system that seem to vary with the ambient humidity. If so, let me present to you the likely culprit for all of that stuff, which is this 20-pin connector you're going to find in your trunk. Let me explain. If you remove the carpet and look towards the left front corner of your trunk, you'll find connector C551 on the NSX. This is an unsealed 20-pin connector that links the circuits to your taillights, blinkers, power antenna, CD changer if so equipped, and the right rear wheel speed sensor, among a few other things. Inside the plastic ends are 20 pairs of pins and sockets that connect the respective wires from the trunk harness to the rest of the car. It's on the socket side of this that you may find your smoking gun. Each socket contains a tongue-like spring tab that serves to ensure a solid connection with the companion pin. What happens is that over time, moisture and current combine to corrode these spring tabs, leading to eventual failure. With the tabs missing, the pin is able to sit loose in the socket, potentially breaking contact and opening the circuit. This may change with thermal expansion and contraction, as well as with moisture ingress. This is why problems related to this connector are often intermittent and sometimes related to humidity. If you now suspect this may be the case for you, bear in mind it is not always obvious, but a close visual inspection of the body side of the C551 connector can reveal the broken or missing spring tabs that are at fault. The brake lamp warning light circuit is the most common failure of these, in part because that circuit is always hot, and an open is what triggers the dash light. This means it's the most likely to experience electrolysis over time with water and the associated mineral ingress. For me, after band-aiding a number of these issues over the years, including random loss of ABS, traction control, the brake lamp warning light, and recently the brake lights just not working at all, I've opted for what's hopefully a permanent solution, and that is replacing the entire connector assembly with a sealed Molex connector and repinning every terminal at the same time. For more lightly used NSXs, you may be able to get away with just one new pin socket to fix that pesky warning light, but the first part of what's to follow will still be applicable. To replace the trunk harness connector, I'm going to use the following tools and supplies. A couple of Sharpies, a flat blade screwdriver, some plastic body tools, wire cutters, wire strippers, a dental pick, one Molex MX150 20-pin connector kit, a ratcheting crimping tool, some depinning keys, and some combination of a cell phone camera and notepad. Step 1 will be to disconnect the battery, since we'll be handling some bare terminals, mainly to keep from shorting anything during disassembly. Moving to the trunk, before we touch anything else, we're going to isolate and photograph each half of the wire sequence going into both sides of the connector, and label the connector so it's obvious which side we're looking at. At the same time, we're going to note the position of and tape label the wires for any duplicate color combos. There are pairs of black and red, green and yellow, and green and black in our case, and you don't want your trunk to pop open when you shift into reverse, to name one possible mix-up. With everything documented, noted, and labeled, it's time to separate the connector halves and prepare to depin. With the connector halves separated, you'll need to release the locking tabs on either side first. For best results, I recommend gentle application of a screwdriver blade and then plastic wedges on either side of the tab to pop those loose. Moving to the workbench with a sacrificial connector for demonstration, we'll start on the male side of the plastic connector, which houses the problematic pin sockets. Viewed from the plug side, you'll see the metallic pin sockets, and just underneath or towards the middle of the connector from each will be a small plastic tab. Use a thin depinning tool or fine pick to pry that down while simultaneously pulling on the wire from the back. If you have the tab properly disengaged, there should be very little resistance in pulling the wire and pin socket out the back. On the female half of the connector, the process is somewhat the same, but you'll need a longer tool. I opted for a straight dental pick to pry up or towards the outside of the connector to disengage these tabs while pulling on the wire. The female connector is definitely the more tricky of the two sides, so expect to expend some patience here if you're doing more than a wire or two. For us, it was then time to rinse and repeat about 38 times to make sure we were minimizing wire length loss to the following steps. With all the wires free, we now need to replace the OEM pins and sockets with the Molex version to be compatible with our new connector body. I clipped the wires as close to the original sockets as possible, then used my wire strippers and finally the crimpers to affix the new terminal ends. If you're doing this for the first time, I'd recommend buying 2 kits or at least some extra terminals for each side in case you miscrimp or somehow otherwise mangle things in the process. I definitely did. The last step was inserting the wires and terminals back into the new connector body in the correct order. We had to make some adjustments due to the 10 and 10 layout of the new connector versus the 9 and 11 layout with the original, but the important part is that each wire connects to its mate from before. One note, if you use a Molex kit like this and it's difficult to insert the wires, it probably means your crimp was sloppy or the terminal got bent slightly in that process, so take a close look and adjust or re-crimp to avoid trouble here. Several extremely tedious hours and one Amazon overnight delivery later though, we have a fresh trunk harness connector that is now also fully gasketed against water ingress, so we should have hopefully more than 20 years of runway on this fix, now that we don't have to be concerned with trunk condensation making its way into the pin sockets. So as we get ready to button things back up and then go for a test drive to make sure that we have made all of the correct connections, we hope this video will have saved some of you any of the dozens of hours of diagnostics that it took me to figure out that this was a problem. A shout out in particular, if I haven't already done it, in the voiceover to Kaz from the NSX Club UK, who actually pointed me to the electrical pin issue that I described earlier as a possible culprit for the issues that I was having at the time. I think we've been chasing this since we've been chasing various issues with it that related to the trunk harness that I have either like band-aided or you know, had to fix in a parking lot since probably 2011. And most of them I've just been, you know, suffice to like fix a wire or two, but it finally got to the point where at NSX Capades back in December, where the brake lights sort of stopped working all of a sudden. I'm like, nah, this is a problem, and it's only going to continue. You know, there are 20 pins in here, and all of them are going to, you know, all the little spring tabs are going to fail eventually. So let's just get ahead of that and get a you know, a sealed connector in here that is not going to suffer from the same you know, humidity change degradation that the unsealed connector will continue to do over time, especially with some plans we have coming up that I don't want to spend time during on the side of the road fixing stupid wire connectors. So anyway, as I said, I hope you found the video informative. Hopefully it saved somebody a headache. But for now, and until next time, I'm Richard, this is Lap of the World, and we'll see you guys in the next video, if not at the track.